Today we're going to be going over 2.7 solving proportions. So our goal for today is to solve and apply proportions. Before we get started, we need to look at some vocabulary. First of all, a proportion is an equation that states that two ratios are equal. So remember, ratio can just be a fancy word for saying fraction, right? Cross products mean that in a proportion, the cross products, when you multiply you cross multiply, those products are equal. And then the cross products property just means that the cross products of a proportion are equal. So let's just look at some examples. If we look at example A, we have 4/3 equals 8 over x. Now these are two ratios that are set equal to each other. So I can use the cross products property that says if I take the cross product, so I'm cross multiplying, 4 times x is 4x. That should equal the other cross product, so 8 times 3. Well, 8 times 3 is 24. So I can go ahead and I can now solve for x. If I was going to solve for x, this is 4 times x, so I would do the opposite, and I would divide by 4. So 24 divided by 4 is 6, so x equals 6. So if I look at b, it's the exact same thing. I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to take y times 5, which we write it 5y, we put the number first, and that should equal its cross product. 3 times 3 is 9. So now to solve, I'm just dividing by 5. Now, 9 divided by 5 doesn't go in evenly, so I'm going to leave it as a fraction. 9 over 5. And that is my answer. So it's the same exact thing for C. I'm going to cross multiply. 3 times b is 3b. 13 times 5 is 65. And so to solve for b now, I divide by 3. Now 65 divided by 3 doesn't go in evenly, and you can't simplify the fraction. So I'm going to leave it as 65 over 3. And that's my answer. So let's look at another set of examples. This is the same exact thing, right? We're cross multiplying, but you can see that in this numerator of this ratio, I have more than one term in there. I have a minus 2. So when I cross multiply, this is 3 times a minus 2. I have to multiply the 3 by both terms in the numerator. So this is a distributive property problem. On the other side, it's just 9 times 2. 9 times 2 is 18. So now I'm going to solve the equation. So with these, I would distribute. So I'm distributing the 3. So I have 3a minus 6 equals 18. Then I'm just solving for a. I'm adding 6. I get 3a equals 24. And then I'm dividing by 3. So I get a equals 8. So I would do the same exact thing for b. Now this one, 7 times 8 is 56. 5 times k minus 2, I have to distribute the 5 because there's more than one term in the denominator of this. So I'm going to distribute the 5. So I have 56 equals 5k minus 10. Now I'm just solving for k. I'm adding 10 to both sides. So I get 66 equals 5 times k. So to undo that, I divide by 5. Now 66 divided by 5, that's not going to go in evenly, and I cannot simplify that fraction. So I leave it as 66 over 5 equals k. So one more of these. Now this one, notice that I have two different denominators that have more than one term. It's the same exact thing. On this side, I'm taking 3 times b minus 4. So this is 3, and in parentheses, b minus 4. The other side, I'm doing the exact same thing. It's 2 times 3b plus 4. So it's 2, and then in parentheses, because I have to multiply both the 3b and the positive 4 by 2. So now I've got to use the distributive property. I have to distribute the 3 to the b and the negative 4. So this is 3b minus 12. Over here I have to distribute the 2 to the 3b and the positive 4. So 2 times 3b is 6b. 2 times 4 is 8. Now from here I have to solve my equation. Remember, when we have variables on both sides, we need to move them to one side. So I'm going to move the 3b. Since it was a positive 3b, I'm subtracting it. So 3b minus 3b is 0, so I'm left with negative 12 on the left side. 6b minus 3b is 3b, and I have plus 8. So now I want to get the b alone, so I subtract 8. Negative 12 minus 8 is negative 20. And I want to solve for b, so I divide by 3. Now negative 20 divided by 3 doesn't go in evenly, so I just write it as a fraction, negative 20 over 3. Now there's one last example that puts this into context. So it says a portable media player has 2 gigabytes of storage and can hold about 500 songs. A similar but larger media player has 80 gigabytes of storage. About how many songs can the larger media player hold? So we're going to make a proportion. I'm given that a portable media player has 2 gigabytes of storage and can hold about 500 songs. I'm going to put this into a ratio. Okay? For 2 gigabytes of storage, you can hold 500 songs. Now I'm going to do another ratio, okay, so I can make my proportion. It says a similar but larger media player has 80 gigabytes of storage. So I know that it has 80 gigabytes of storage. I'm wondering how many songs it could hold. Since the other ratio has the gigabytes on top and the number of songs on the bottom, the ratio that I'm about to write has to have the same thing. So I have 80 gigabytes of storage, and on the bottom, I don't know how many songs it should hold, so that's my unknown, that's my x. Now it's just like any other problem. I'm going to cross multiply, so I'm going to take 2 times x, which is 2x. I'm going to take 80 times 500, which is 40,000. And I'm going to solve for x, so I would divide by 2. So 40,000 divided by 2 is 20,000. And since we're talking about a word problem, we want to write our answer in units. So we're talking about songs. So it can hold 20,000 songs. So that was 2.7. I'll see you guys tomorrow in class.